Imagine looking outside and seeing this. And the wildest thing is, tornadoes like this are happening all across Alabama at the same time.
Okay, we gotta go. Major tornado!
At this moment, you are witnessing the worst tornado outbreak in recorded history. It's late April 2011, and tornado season is well underway for the US. On April 15th, dozens of tornadoes tear across Mississippi and Alabama, wreaking havoc on the region, killing 7 people. Outbreaks like this aren't especially common. However, meteorologists at the Storm Prediction Center are picking up a new signal for severe weather on April 27th, and it's looking far, far worse. A large low-pressure system is forming over the Rockies, bringing an extremely large and powerful jet stream over the southern US, while also pulling up huge amounts of warm, moist air from the Gulf. The balance of ingredients is nearly perfect, resulting in one of the most extreme, widespread environments for tornadoes in recorded history. The signal is obvious, and the Storm Prediction Center issues a level 5 out of 5 high risk for Mississippi and Alabama. In the early hours of the 27th, an intense line of storms sweep across Alabama. This band of storms had been predicted, but the intensity had not. Numerous tornadoes embedded in the rain terrorize the people as they sleep. The main impact of these storms is much more sinister. Over 1 million people are without power or any form of early warning system for the tornadoes predicted later in the day. A few hours later, another cluster of storms track across northern Mississippi and Alabama, and these storms also have a huge impact. A thermal boundary is created at the surface, and if any storm moves along this boundary, it will become supercharged in what is already a historic tornado environment. As the afternoon arrives, daytime heating adds enough fuel for storms to thrive, and before long, one storm is already producing a strong tornado on the north side of Philadelphia, Mississippi. Right away, the tornado exhibits multi-vortex structure, a telltale sign that it's extremely powerful. The tornado parallels Highway 21. Now in a fairly rural area, the tornado bears down on a few structures in its path. Those impacted by the tornado's core suffer severe damage, but as the tornado nears the border of Winston County, it undergoes another period of extreme intensification, harboring violent upward velocities in its core so strong it literally gouges the topsoil off the ground, scouring a 2-foot deep trench while lofting nearby trees over 100 yards, indicating that it's solidly at EF5 intensity, the highest echelon of tornado. Jerome Jackson captures this moment on video. This is one of the only videos showing the tornado at peak strength as it's trenching the earth.
That's a big tornado.
The tornado closes in on the small community of Coy, briefly weakening as it passes through the center of town before the violent core suddenly strengthens to EF5 intensity yet again. On Stokes Road, asphalt is scoured and several cars are thrown hundreds of yards, rendering them unrecognizable. Famous storm chaser Reed Timmer is recording with the Discovery Channel. Even though Reed is chasing in a vehicle that is built to handle tornadic winds, the extreme power of this tornado is far too strong for his vehicle to handle.
Coming down to the right here, guys.
Many homes in this area are completely obliterated, including a mobile home on Green Road, which is lofted 300 yards without touching the ground. Inside, 3 people are killed. These are the only 3 fatalities inflicted by this tornado. The tornado scours more asphalt before finally weakening and dissipating. Before I continue, I'd like to tell you about the sponsor of this video, ZocDoc. As a full-time storm chaser, my life can be extremely hectic. I don't know if I'm gonna be in Nebraska, Texas, or Illinois, which is awesome, but it makes scheduling appointments almost impossible, especially when doctor's appointments are traditionally scheduled 6 months in advance. And that's where the sponsor of this video comes in. ZocDoc is a completely free website that lets you compare doctors across 200 specialties and all 50 states so you can find the very best doctor for your needs. But I think the best part is that you can instantly see each doctor's availability, allowing you to quickly book an appointment online without having to talk to a single person. It's so much better than the old way of doing things. If you're like me and you don't want to book your doctor's appointment so far in advance, use ZocDoc. But if you do, make sure to use my link, ZocDoc.com/highriskchris, which is in the description, or use the QR code on screen. Alright, back to the video. The Philadelphia EF5 is among the first tornadoes in the outbreak, and across Mississippi and Alabama, maturing storms begin to produce tornadoes of similar intensity. But, unlike Philadelphia, one tornado is making a beeline straight for a large city, Cullman, Alabama.
Goodness gracious, let's take a look at those cloud bases. Are you kidding me? All right, so that is our wall cloud, so now we can just focus on this thing.
James Spann is providing coverage for the outbreak. The first severe storm in the state just happens to be heading towards one of these tower cameras overlooking downtown Cullman.
This is west of downtown Cullman, approaching the city. So again, right now, this is the time to go to a safe place. Do not wait and watch the television.
The vortex remains fairly weak as it approaches town. However, as the base of the storm emerges from the rain, the tornado presents a multiple vortex structure with intense subvortices writhing around the tornado's core.
And again, we've seen these multiple vortices from time to time. Do not worry about the change in the structure. This thing will probably stay down for a long period of time.
Residents on the ground watched the tornado move closer and closer to downtown, including David Stiles, who is directly in the path.
It's dissipating.
At the last moment, the tornado turns south, sparing David's location.
And again, this thing is coming right through the middle of downtown Cullman, right near First Baptist Church, right near the Cullman County Courthouse. It will continue moving roughly out Highway 278. Again, this is a tornado emergency, and I think we just lost power.
Just lost it.
The tornado knocks out the power, cutting the feed to the tower camera.
And if we get the power back, we'll go right back to that.
As the tornado exits town, the vortex is still incredibly dangerous, killing a person as it enters more rural areas. As the core of the twister becomes more stable, it grows larger and stronger, but the tornado is still yet to reach its peak strength as it moves onward towards the community of Hullico.
Major tornado!
Much like Philadelphia, the core now contains extreme vertical winds and is completely annihilating everything in its path. Jason Craw captures the moment the tornado throws trees while scouring the ground, and it just keeps persisting and growing stronger with time.
Oh my God.
The tornado is now nearly at EF5 intensity. More homes are swept from their foundations. Trees are uprooted and thrown, and at a gas station, winds are so strong that 2 gas pumps are torn out of the ground and are never found again. At one home on Frontier Road, 7-year-old Ari Hallmark is sheltering with 8 other family members. Sadly, the home is hit dead on, sweeping it off its foundation. Ari loses her grandparents, her parents, and her cousin, which are the 5 other fatalities from this tornado. The tornado exits the communities to the northeast, weakening as it crosses the Tennessee River before finally dissipating, leaving 6 dead in total. During the Cullman tornado's lifetime, many other supercells had begun to mature, and even though it's only 3 o'clock, It's already evident that a widespread tornado outbreak is underway. Further west in northern Mississippi, one of these cells is gearing up to produce a new tornado. But this storm is different. Its path perfectly parallels the thermal boundary left behind from the morning storms. This thin corridor along the thermal boundary may be the most extreme tornado environment ever recorded, and this storm is about to take full advantage of it. A tornado touches down just west of the small community of Anchor, Mississippi, immediately causing intense tree damage and destroying mobile homes. The tornado continues tracking south of the small town of Houston, leveling multiple homes. But it's when it approaches the town of Okolona and Egypt that it truly gains its strength. The tornado rapidly grows into a massive wedge, scouring the ground, sweeping away multiple homes, and throwing hardwood trees just west of Highway 45. On the highway, Lynn Davis is driving south when he spots the tornado. He thinks he can outrun it, but the tornado is moving with a forward speed of 60 miles per hour, and Lynn is overtaken by the vortex, lofting him into the air. His truck remains airborne for a remarkable 1.7 miles, the furthest a car has been suspended without hitting the ground. When the truck falls back down, Lynn is killed on impact. It's at this moment the tornado enters the community of Chapel Grove, where many homes are destroyed, including one well-built home that is swept off its foundation. The tornado is still violent as it enters the town of New Wren, destroying even more homes, although it's now constricting into a narrow barrel shape. And before long, this tornado will shrivel up and die, leaving 7 people dead. The official rating given to this tornado is EF3. However, many believe that this tornado was deserving of an EF4 rating, or perhaps even higher. However, another supercell along the same thermal boundary is about to produce the second official EF5 of the day. The tornado starts off as a multi-vortex tornado, rapidly growing in size and strength, morphing into a massive, mile-wide wedge heading directly for the town of Hackleburg.
So this lead storm is approaching Hackleburg, north of Hamilton, moving northeast. And that's US 43 coming up toward Hackleburg. The clear message here, if you are anywhere close to Hamilton, Hackleburg, you need to be in a safe place.
As the vortex approaches town, it parallels US 43, inflicting extreme damage, completely sweeping homes from their foundations. As the tornado enters town, homes are razed to the ground, cars are tossed up to 200 yards. Both of the town's schools are severely damaged, and some concrete foundations are partially shattered. The winds are so strong that the door from a storm cellar buckles inwards, injuring the family sheltering inside. It's the residential area where the majority of the town's 18 deaths occur. Emergency responders struggle to determine the number of deceased due to how shredded the debris is. As the tornado moves into the east side of town, it strikes a multi-story apartment complex, sweeping it clean away. Next to the apartment is the Wrangler Gene Plant, where the core of the tornado passes straight through, causing the entire structure to buckle and fail. Miraculously, only one death occurs here, while 12 other workers have to be rescued from the twisted metal. The tornado speeds onwards to the northeast, and soon the town of Phil Campbell is also struck.
10-4. Phil Campbell 3 to 911. I got rotation coming through Phil Campbell right now.
On the south side of town, the subdivision along Woodard Road is swept away, and a concrete storm shelter has its roof blown off. The tornado moves up the highway before striking Brown Street, where every single house on the block is leveled, killing 5. At the end of the road, the winds are violent enough to rip up a large section of asphalt. Tommy Sanders captures the moment right before the tornado overtakes his home. He retreats indoors to put as many walls between him and the outside as possible. Within seconds, the violent winds easily demolish his house, scouring the tiles from his floor. Miraculously, Tommy survives the impact with critical injuries. His 3 neighbors do not survive. Just to the east on Smith Road, the tornado claims the lives of 3 more people, bringing the total death toll in Phil Campbell to 21, the highest in any town up to this point in the day. Dustin Morgan takes a sequence of photos as the tornado moves away from Phil Campbell and into the community of Oak Grove as its near peak width and intensity. Here, Rod Smith shelters underground, and as the tornado passes over his shelter, he hears an awful rumbling noise, along with the sensation that his belly was going to explode. Other survivors tell stories of root canals and tear ducts exploding, all strange injuries that can only be caused by the extreme pressure drop within the central core of the tornado. The monster is still near peak intensity as it enters the community of Mount Hope, where TV meteorologist Gary Dobbs reports live from his home as the tornado bears down on him.
I need to say, I see the rotation now. Wait a minute, I'm getting a good look at the edge. Oh, now I'm hearing the roar. Hang on a minute. If I had to judge what this is, it looks like an F4, and I am going to have to go inside. It is picked up, and it is, well, I got to go inside, okay?
Gary Dobbs heading into a storm shelter, and his cell phone just cut off there.
Gary seeks shelter at the last possible moment, but it's too late, and he is thrown into his backyard along with the remains of his home. Miraculously, Gary survives. Next door, a steakhouse is destroyed so violently that the foundation is partially heaved up out of the ground. Nearby, a family films as they take shelter in their storm cellar. The demonic howl of the tornado can be heard as it passes a quarter mile to their north. As the Hackleburg to Phil Campbell tornado is rampaging through northern Alabama, the new Ren tornado has also been ongoing. And at 3:35, the new Ren tornado dissipates. However, the storm is still riding the extremely volatile thermal boundary. Minutes later, the storm taps into what is arguably the strongest tornadic environment ever documented, and unfortunately, the residents of Smithville are about to experience the strongest winds to ever touch Earth. A funnel begins to descend from the clouds just north of the town of Amory. As the vortex passes over the waterway, it begins to rapidly strengthen before drilling into the ground just 3 miles southwest of Smithville. It moves at highway speeds to the northeast, tearing apart a small forest. Early on, the vortex is still small and unstable, quickly flip-flopping between extreme damage and virtually no damage. As the tornado moves into an open field, the vortex plants once again, this time much stronger than before. The pressure deficit in its center is so extreme that it gouges out the topsoil, leaving behind a 260-foot-long trench in the ground. Only a few seconds later, the tornado encounters its first structures. A mother and daughter are thrown from this location, but miraculously, both survive. Another person at this location becomes the first casualty of this tornado. A man records the monster tornado as it enters the town of Smithville.
Man, you gotta see this debris up in there. It's right here, man. You gotta jump up here.
I hope it's going another direction.
That door.
the tornado races up Highway 25 towards the town center. Homes begin to get struck at EF5 intensity. One home has its foundation swept clean and partially dislodged, and the resident sheltering inside is killed. More homes are swept away along Highway 25, where a red Ford Explorer is sucked up from the driveway. As the tornado sweeps just north of the town center, the truck orbits around the south side of the tornado, where it strikes the town's water tower with so much force it leaves a permanent dent that can still be seen to this day. The tornado now moves into the east side of town, where it begins to peak in intensity. In a home belonging to the Pearson family, Carla Jones is babysitting 3 children. After realizing the tornado is closing in on the home, they all move to the bathroom as Carla attempts to protect the children. Within seconds, the core passes directly over the house, and the entire structure disappears around them. All 4 are thrown from the bathroom. Miraculously, the 3 children survive, but sadly, Carla does not. The tornado now passes between Earl Fry and Cedar Streets, sweeping away multiple large homes, with their anchor bolts either bent over or torn from the concrete. The town's funeral home is directly struck with such force, bricks are pulverized into tiny pieces, and the nearby forest is shredded like paper. In a ditch next to the funeral home, the Ford Explorer that had hit the town's water tower lands in a crumpled ball. To the east, Darnell Collins spots the tornado as it exits Smithville. They snap 2 photos of the tornado at peak strength before going back inside for shelter. One of these photos is by far the most iconic photo of the Smithville tornado, which many say is one of the strongest tornadoes in history. The violent beast speeds onwards to the Mississippi-Alabama border, where it is now tracking very close to where the still ongoing Hackleburg tornado began. Even in such a rural area, a few unlucky homes are still impacted, including one where a man named Rodney Abels becomes the last fatality. In a tragic coincidence, Rodney's wife had survived being struck by the Hackleburg tornado, returning home only to find her home destroyed and husband deceased by another tornado. A few minutes later, the circulation begins to lose its strength, finally dissipating northwest of Hackleburg, leaving 23 dead. While the Smithville EF5 dissipates, the ongoing Hackleburg tornado crosses Wheeler Lake, making landfall just south of Browns Ferry Nuclear Power Plant, averting what could have been a very bad situation. Unfortunately, this path south of the power plant takes the tornado directly into the town of Tanner. The local news station captures the monster on a tower cam as it approaches Tanner.
Full. Please go back full. There you go. That's the tornado. It is ripping through homes right there. As we take a look at the bottom of the base, this car is driving right into it.
The tornado finally begins to weaken and dissipate just south of the Tennessee border. In total, 71 people are left dead from this single tornado, making this the deadliest tornado of the outbreak, and the deadliest tornado in the US since 1955. As bad as this tornado was, the most notable tornado of the day had yet to touch down. At the same time as the Hackleburg and Smithville EF5s, another violent tornado is forming much further south in Alabama. The tornado starts off relatively weak, but is steadily building strength as it moves through the countryside. Alabama residents capture the incredible scene of this tornado traversing the hills, smashing any myths that tornadoes can't move over mountains. The tornado quickly moves onwards into the town of Cordova, paralleling the damage path of an EF3 that had hit the town from the morning storms. Many structures that were weakened earlier in the day are further damaged by this second tornado as it sweeps through town. In one of these unfortunate homes to be hit by 2 tornadoes in less than 24 hours, 4 people are killed when their house collapses on top of them. On the east side of town, the tornado re-strengthens as it approaches Mountain View Road, throwing 2 mobile homes before destroying a home at EF4 intensity, partially sweeping it from its foundation. The frame from one of the mobile homes was found over 500 yards away, and a trailer was found a mile away with a 2.5-foot impact crater where it landed. The tornado continues to destroy homes as it crosses Highway 78 south of Sipsey. Fortunately, the tornado stays in the countryside for the rest of its life, and after 127 miles of damage, the longest of the day, the tornado finally dissipates southwest of Guntersville, Alabama. At almost the same time as when the Cordova tornado touches down, another powerful tornado begins to spin up from the same storm as the earlier Coleman tornado. Residents in the area witness 3 separate funnels merge together to form a large wedge tornado.
Northeast, it's going to push the northern part of Jackson County, so it'll track right up to northeast Jackson County, break north 16.
The tornado becomes increasingly powerful as it moves north of the town of Pisgah, throwing cars and completely demolishing multiple homes at EF4 intensity, killing 3 people in separate homes. Local Zach Cagle captures the tornado speeding away from Pisgah at over 60 miles per hour. The tornado is now 3/4 of a mile wide and is approaching the more populated areas just south of Higdon. In one home, a mother and her 3 children are sheltering when their home literally explodes around them. Miraculously, they all survive to see a hellish scene of dead livestock and swept away farm buildings. The tornado moves onwards towards the Georgia border, killing 5 more people as it approaches the town of Trenton. The tornado continues producing EF4 damage, but it begins to waver in intensity. It's not long before the tornado dissipates, leaving 15 dead in total. During all this chaos, James Spann has been frantically jumping from storm to storm, hoping to provide coverage to the many people in the paths of these violent tornadoes. But his attention is drawn to one particular storm that has everyone concerned.
This one is in a position to come right up toward town. So the northern storm passes north of Tuscaloosa. The southern storm, it might want to make a beeline for the city.
The storm in question has just entered western Alabama, and reports of a large tornado are coming in near the town of Foster's. Soon, a video stream from John Oldshoe gives confirmation to these reports, and one of Alabama's largest cities, Tuscaloosa, is directly in its path. Through the haze on the horizon, it appears the tornado may have lifted, but this is not the case. With each second that passes, the tower cam shows the tornado growing larger.
Look at the debris in that. Zoom in tighter, Jason, if we can go in tighter. Look at that. Goodness gracious. This will be a day that will go down in state history, and all you can do is pray for those people. This is a large, violent tornado coming up on downtown Tuscaloosa. Be in a safe place right now.
As the monster quickly approaches the southwest side of town, it brings down power lines, cutting power to the live camera.
There goes the Skycam.
Immediately in the path are hundreds of homes and businesses, and worst of all is the University of Alabama campus, where thousands of students nervously await the tornado. A direct impact here would be the largest catastrophe of the outbreak.
Look at this. There's your debris ball right here, okay? It seems to be pretty much on the interstate, and obviously nobody should be along the interstate.
We don't know if this thing can change directions. We're not experts.
The tornado crosses Interstate 359. One car on the interstate is thrown, killing the driver inside.
Oh my God.
The vortex now bears down on a housing development on Rosedale Court. Nearly the entire southern half of the development is leveled, killing 9 people, including students of the university. The tornado speeds on, hitting Charleston Square apartments, killing 2 more people. Many people all around the tornado capture several horizontal vortices, a visual cue the tornado is intensifying. It also is one of the most evil-looking tornadoes ever captured. Jason Rosolowski films from the University Mall as the tornado crosses the intersection of 15th and McFarland Boulevard. More college students living near the campus are killed as their homes are demolished by this monster tornado. Inside a restaurant, Gomez Perez films as the skies darken and the central core of the tornado engulfs the building. The vortex continues northeast into the neighborhood of Alberta City at its most violent intensity yet. It's here where the tornado overtakes Chastain Manor, a 2-story retirement home. When the tornado hits, the entire upper floor is swept away, and the clubhouse just to the south is completely swept from its foundation. And a large railroad bridge is toppled at the ironically named Hurricane Creek, with one of the 34-ton metal trusses being thrown 100 feet from the ravine. Dozens more homes are swept away as the tornado speeds to the northeast, showing no sign of lifting. While everyone's attention is glued to the Tuscaloosa tornado, another supercell in the northeast corner of Alabama begins to rapidly intensify, and soon a tornado touches down near the town of Fackler. Denny Lambert films the tornado striking and destroying multiple homes. One home is swept away, partially lifting the concrete foundation out of the ground. Next to this property, a car is thrown 150 feet before the tornado levels 2 more houses and windrows mobile homes. In this area, the tornado claims the life of a teenager, which is the only life claimed by this tornado. The tornado just barely inches south of Bridgeport, sparing the town of 2,400 people before crossing the Tennessee River. The brief but powerful tornado dissipates only 20 minutes after touchdown. While the Bridgeport tornado is ongoing, the Tuscaloosa tornado is quickly closing in on Birmingham, the largest city in Alabama.
The storm right here that produced all of the damage in Tuscaloosa County coming up toward Birmingham. And again, it is a clear call to action. There it is right there. There's your debris ball. This large tornado is coming right up. This is Pleasant Grove.
The monster has shown no sign of weakening and no longer appears like a typical tornado, with the base of the storm essentially scraping the ground, hiding the vortex as it terrorizes the suburbs of Concord and Pleasant Grove. Here, multiple homes are swept away at high-end EF4 strength, with the debris being scattered hundreds of yards. In the midst of all the destruction, the tornado strikes a line of parked rail cars, each weighing 36 tons. One of these cars is tossed 390 feet, a remarkable display of strength rarely ever seen within tornadoes. Once the tornado reaches the suburb of Fultondale, the circulation quickly dissipates, entering the history books as the costliest tornado ever recorded at the time, taking the lives of 64 people, making it the second deadliest tornado of the outbreak. Even though Alabama has been enduring the vast majority of the destruction, Mississippi is still under threat for violent tornadoes. In fact, one of the longest tornadoes of the outbreak is currently forming near the town of Raleigh, Mississippi. The tornado first achieves EF4 intensity northwest of town when a frame home is partially swept from its foundation. Several nearby mobile homes are completely obliterated, with so much debris that surveyors couldn't distinguish where the debris had come from. Many of the locals who lived in the mobile homes had evacuated to framed houses nearby, which almost certainly saved their lives, as the 2 people who decided to remain in their mobile home were killed. The tornado slightly weakens as it nears the town of Rose Hill, wrecking framed homes and shredding apart mobile homes, before slowly intensifying back to EF4 strength as it approaches the town of Enterprise. On the south side of town, numerous homes are completely destroyed, including one newly constructed home which is completely swept off of its foundation. The tornado moves through more open country until it is south of the town of Meridian, where it encounters a cluster of mobile homes. Inside one of the mobile homes, 11 people are sheltering. When the tornado strikes, the mobile home is lofted into the air, exploding into pieces, killing 4 inside. The tornado crosses into Alabama, where it continues destroying homes at EF3 intensity before finally lifting after traveling an astounding 122 miles, killing 7. In the extreme northeast corner of Alabama, the 4th and final EF5 of the day is forming from the same storm that had previously produced the Philadelphia EF5 and the Cordova EF4. This next tornado is heading straight for the town of Rainsville, Alabama. Charlene Stevens captures the tornado's multi-vortex structure near the town of Fife, Alabama. Already, the tornado is strong enough to severely damage homes, but it's when the tornado approaches the south side of Rainsville when it is fully at EF5 strength. Tony Walls captures the moment several homes are swept away as the tornado approaches Main Street. Along Main Street, many businesses, homes, and a school are struck, while vehicles are thrown hundreds of yards, including a school bus that is shredded down to its frame. East of town, the tornado continues to rapidly intensify, now sweeping away numerous well-built, anchored homes from their foundations at EF5 intensity. A stone home is completely demolished, with one of the large cement support pillars being pulled from the ground. The tornado begins to scour the ground as it approaches multiple homes. The most notable of all these homes is a large anchored 2-story brick home. Anchor bolts are pulled from the foundation, and the concrete porch is thrown 450 feet away from the home's original location. An 800-pound safe is pulled from its anchors, has its door torn off its hinges, and is thrown 600 feet away. Residents survive in their storm cellar nearby, which also is exposed to the winds, causing soil from around the underground cellar to be scoured away. The tornado continues to essentially wipe away every structure it comes into contact with. In the midst of the chaos, one home belonging to the Thompson family is struck on County Road 591. Fortunately, all 6 survive in an underground storm cellar, but emerge to find their entire property reduced to a pile of rubble. Andy Thompson looks off to the northeast and takes this infamous photo as the tornado continues tearing across the Alabama countryside. The tornado keeps its rampage going, obliterating more homes near Hangar before slowly waning in strength, dissipating at the Alabama-Georgia border. You'd think, after producing 2 EF5s and the longest EF4 of the day, the storm would be out of energy. But this storm is unprecedented, and only 30 minutes after the Rainsville tornado lifts, another circulation is beginning to organize as the storm heads towards the town of Ringgold, Georgia.
God bless Ringgold. Be with him. Oh God, be with him.
Right when the sun sets, the tornado touches down, with the funnel only just being visible in the fading light, making it potentially more dangerous. At first, the tornado only inflicts light damage to the southwest of town, but as with many tornadoes this day, slowly builds up in strength, damaging more homes and businesses as it enters populated areas. The tornado claims its first life as it strikes a home on Clark Circle. Now entering downtown, the Ringgold High School and Middle School are damaged, but it's not until the tornado is east of town that it finally peaks in intensity. The funnel sweeps down a large hill onto Cherokee Valley Road, and the tornado swells to over 3/4 of a mile wide. The tornado follows the road, where a cluster of 20 framed homes are directly struck at peak strength, sweeping several of them clean off of their foundations. In one of the swept homes, 4 members of the same family are killed. Shortly after, the tornado crosses into Tennessee, closing in on the town of Appleton. Still at EF4 strength, the tornado crosses Bill Jones Road, where the Colby family is sheltering. As the tornado strikes their home, the house quickly vanishes around them. Their 1,200-pound safe is torn from its anchoring and lands onto them. Miraculously, all survive. The tornado moves through the southern suburbs of Cleveland before finally dissipating to the east of town, leaving a total of 24 dead in its wake. While the Rainsville to Ringgold supercell has been wreaking havoc, the same storm that produced the Tuscaloosa tornado is producing another tornado on par with many of the other strongest tornadoes. The new tornado touches down very shortly after the Tuscaloosa tornado had lifted, still in the eastern suburbs of Birmingham. Lisa Sprinks captures the tornado roaring up the valley towards the lake before running to cover.
77. We're gonna have to move. 144. We're gonna have to move. Yeah, it's coming straight at us. Come on, we gotta go. I'm almost.
Along the western and eastern shorelines, dozens more homes are destroyed, with several being swept away. In total, 18 people are killed from the tornado's destructive path, but the tornado is not done.
Boy, man, goodness. Are you kidding me? That is a violent tornado that is just west of Piedmont. Everybody in Piedmont, Goshen, Spring Garden, be in a safe place now.
William Bonner captures the tornado as it kills 4 more people when several homes and a church are demolished. Shortly after, the tornado weakens to EF3 intensity in the rural areas, all the way until the Georgia border, where it dissipates. In total, this tornado took the lives of 22. As darkness falls, violent tornadoes are still underway. In Tennessee's Great Smoky Mountain National Park, an EF4 tornado touches down over Chillouee Lake, where it destroys a TVA transmission tower, but thankfully stays far away from any populated areas. Slightly to the west, a high-end EF4 strikes the community of New Harmony with winds of 190 miles per hour. Here, many homes are destroyed and swept away, with mobile homes and vehicles being thrown, killing 4 people. The last violent tornado of the outbreak touches down all the way back in southern Alabama. The tornado grows to half a mile wide, killing 4 people on the shore of Lake Martin. On the other side of the lake, the tornado leaves an extremely visible scar in the ground, leveling trees with such violence, nothing is left. The tornado carries on for another 24 miles before it dissipates just north of the town of Sykes, Alabama. In this video, I only covered the strongest 16 of the 368 tornadoes to occur on this day. While each one of the tornadoes I talked about was ongoing, dozens of other tornadoes were damaging homes, as well as ending many lives. The widespread scale and intensity of tornadoes this day is unlike any other day in modern history. In the days, weeks, and months following, the locals band together to clean up the mess left by the tornadoes. Over time, the debris is cleared, homes rebuilt, and trees regrown. The physical scars fade with time. However, the memory of what happened is permanently etched into the people who were there to witness dozens of monster tornadoes terrorizing their hometowns. Over the years, I've met many people who were in Alabama on this day, and each one of them has an incredible story about a tornado that almost hit them. This day is imprinted on the memory of everyone who lived through it, and it is unquestionably the worst tornado outbreak in history.